Welcome to the Empowered Spirit Show. This is your host, Terry Ann Hyman. I'll explore the connection to the human spirit in a way that helps to navigate your life, including crisis. I am passionate about helping you to open up to your intuition and the metaphysical world of spirit to find your confidence in your own inner guidance. Take a pause, be inspired, learn ways to show up focused, centered, and more dynamic in your everyday life.
Welcome back to the Empowered Spirit Show. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me today. This episode is being sponsored by Ritual and Shelter. Are you looking for a magical place to shop and hold space? Check out Ritual and Shelter online or in Homewood, Alabama. Browse through their bookshelves covering topics such as energy healing, crystal healing, Reiki, chakras, auras, the Akashic records, shadow work, astrology, and earth-based healing. You can also find herbal teas and tinctures alongside their crystals and oils to help establish a mindful mindset and fluid ambience before meditation, ritual work, and reflection. Ritual and Shelter is dedicated to providing one-on-one, in-depth conversations with customers to help them find the most efficient healing methods and resources that match their unique interest and energy. They offer tarot sessions, Reiki, sound bowl, and crystal healing, and now they are offering witch consultations. Visit ritualshelter.com to book an appointment and bring peace back to the body, mind, and spirit. You can also find them on Instagram at Ritual Shelter Shop, as well as Pinterest at Ritual Plus Shelter. So as I go to record this podcast, we are in the energy of the full moon coming in Cancer. They call it the wolf moon because the wolves used to howl. They were so hungry, right? And so what are you hungry for right now? What is your soul asking? What did you notice? It came in on Monday. So what did you notice for you? Because it's a time to ask your soul these questions. Cancer is about nurturing. It's the intuitive part of ourselves. It's going in underneath the shell, right? To that soft spot. And it's asking those deep questions. What are we here for? What are we doing? Especially as we open up to this year. There's so many signs going on around us as well. Tons of cosmic shifts, not just this full moon. Tons. And so probably you've been reading about all the planets aligning in the sky. Yes, we do. But it's not so much aligning as kind of a parade of planets. So we do have this ability the whole month. Some people saying on January 25th and 21st, really right now. Right now, go outside, look up, ask for these beautiful light, higher vibrations. Right? We're looking up. We're looking to the stars. They've guided us for eons to come into us and ask some of these questions. So I was finishing up teaching a yoga class. And as we came out on Sunday, we'd look up and the moon was right there. And then this beautiful bright star, Pluto. And then between the clouds, you could see a little hints of Mars. So yes, get outside, look up, ask the questions. What is my path? Where am I being guided? What am I resisting? That's a big question to ask. What are you resisting? We need to look at these questions to answer. So many changes coming on. I know here in the States, they got the political change upcoming. What will that bring? I think many people are just like, okay, here we go. I did see a cruise offering 4 years on the cruise to get away from it all. How fun is that, right? No, that would not help me do the work that I do in helping others, right? Being here in this present moment, which was the message today on my weekly papers, my live stream I do on Instagram and YouTube. Presence was what the Lemurians were whispering in my ear. That's what I do. I hear. I sometimes see. Sometimes they guide me to the crystals I need in my house. Many times they do that. But in the message I heard this morning, it's like being really present. Because how many of us go off like thinking about tomorrow, the next step, not to mention hanging on to all that stuff in the past. Bring it into the present. Where are you right now? Are you trusting? Also, that full moon in Cancer energy brought in the ability to open up our intuition, learning to trust the gut. You know, as I talked about in the last episode, if you missed it, go back. Developing your intuition. I knew I had it. I knew I was sensitive. Yet I wasn't trusting it. Why is that? So I had to train. I just had to commit to the practice. It's not hard. The hard part's committing. The hard part is being disciplined to show up every day in meditation, work in this higher realm that I teach you to work in. That will help you bring in the guidance. I had some big messages. I was begging. I was having one of those moments where you just show me I need the guidance now. If this isn't it, show me what is. It was one of those mornings, using all my tools, tapping away, tears, right? Okay, I admit, I do the work too. That's how I know it works. But I did. I had this big message come in. It's like 3 of them, but one was really big and really powerful. Now, of course, it's going to be up to me to work it through and play it out and bring it forward, but the opportunities. And it's always up to us. Even when we do readings, we look to the stars and the astrology, we can get the guidance, but it is up to us, which is why I teach intuitive skills, why I teach how to create your own spiritual practice. Very important. Now, the other thing coming up right now in the stars is the Chinese zodiac. It's the Chinese New Year coming up at the end of the month, right? A lot of good fortune around that. And they say like, okay, here we are. We're getting out. What year was it? Do you remember? It was the year of the dragon, the fire, all that energy coming forward. And now it's the wood snake. How many people are scared of snakes? But they offer so much energy, all right? So like I use this lots of times analogy too, shed a skin. To me, that's what that snake energy will be about, right? It will be about opening up to wisdom, to adaptivity, to really a sense of transformation is the best word to come up with. Transmutation, yes, transformation, both. Because like when the snake sheds a skin, it becomes vulnerable. It's raw until it builds and grows into it. So there is an elegance to the snake, right? It slithers. So many different kinds. Some are poisonous, right? So we do need to be careful. But it does lead to that elegance and that form of mystery. And what is this about? And transforming our own past, our own self, right? We could do that. And it also leads a lot to, they're saying, good fortune. All right. The snake is associated with good fortune. I did find a story. Let me share it with you because a lot of the astrology and the mythics and the stories and the legends, this is what makes it up. This is what brings it forward into a way we all can understand. So one of the stories that I just recently read is about how snakes are associated with wealth and prosperity. So according to legend, a snake once saved a village from drought by bringing a precious jewel to the surface of the earth. And from that day on, snakes were revered and considered lucky animals. So think about it. What can the snake bring up for you? What can you shed and let go of to move through this year in a way that you want to move through with it? How can you do that? Fun story, right? Want to know how you can create your spiritual practice, build the tools, build the skills. And maybe you already have a practice, maybe you've gotten away from it, but come back to it and build that foundation because we do need a foundation. Every type of intuitive readings, Akashic readings, mediumships, everything talks about building that foundation, which I can help you do. I am a private mentor and I can help you create that practice. I can meet you where you are, help you move through those blocks, those paths, even just learning how to do some of this work, learning Reiki. That really is. That is my forte. That is my gift. You want to know more? Schedule a spiritual upgrade call with me and let's chat. I love to talk to you. We'll do a Zoom call. We'll talk about it. You'll figure out if you resonate with the way in which I like to teach and help and serve. I'll put the links in the show notes. So we've all heard the Einstein quote, right? Regarding solving a problem, which is, we cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking that we used when we created them. So essentially, this means that to solve a complex issue, you need to approach it from a new perspective and not remain stuck in like that same old mindset that's now created the problems. But most of us keep churning and going back and forth and doing that duality things that us humans do to try to solve it. But when we start to use these tools and open up, and as we've been talking about last several episodes, working in the Akashic realm, we can expand that consciousness. We can bring in wisdom from our past life. So today, as I go to round out our sessions, I've so enjoyed bringing this forward. I really have, bringing forward all these teachings. I hope you've enjoyed it too. And actually, a little hint, I will share that some of this, talking about the Akashic Records and what I've been training and teaching, I am actually going to be on, fingers crossed it all comes through, but one of the new things I've manifested, I've talked about a little bit, on Etheric TV, which is going to be a TV streaming network. So it'll be a podcast, a show, and I'm going to use a lot of talking about working in the Akashic realm and how do you build that radiance and all. I'll be using that for it. It's called Soul Messages. I will let you know when it airs. We're still bringing it out. So there's a little just excitement bubbling up. But for me, I'm having to learn the new tools in order to do it. It's not just an audio podcast. So part of my learning to do this podcast on video, right? So it is about learning new tools, using technology, using skills. Some of this is drawing on wisdom I used to use when I lived in New York as a photographer and videographer in New York. So this goes back. So we bring our skills forward. We learn the new technology. We show up present. And this is, to me, why working in the Akashic realm is so valuable. The more you work in the realm, the more you recognize a shift in consciousness, the more you realize you can make shifts and changes. You can find those old imprints, bring them forward, heal them, love them about yourself, and then declare, commit, I choose a new path. And when it shows up again, we do this as I've been talking about, right? Thank you for showing up. We have humor, amusement. Spirit loves amusement. Thank you for showing up. I'm choosing this path. And then we make those choices there. And the more we do that shift, it is a shift in energy. It is a shift in vibration. We start going this way. And then we find ourselves here and here and here and here. For whatever that means for you, we all have different ideas of where we want our path to go. For some, it's more abundance. For some, it's more love. For some, it's more joy. For some, it's better health, right? What is it for you? Now, I wanted to go a little deeper, and I've kind of saved this one to close out because this is kind of the science of working in the Akashic realm. One of my teachers for this is the great, amazing researcher, writer, author. I love her to death, Cindy Dale. I did apprentice in several of her classes, took one with her in the Shift Network. I do know she has a new one coming in. She's amazing. She's written so many books, thick books, and we go through it, and I highlight and have notes, and I talk about it. But what I am able to do is also then apply it to the ways in which I teach, to the ways in which working the Akashic Records resonates with this, and now I can share a little bit more about that expanded state of consciousness. All right, so one of the ones that maybe you know of this, or maybe you take yoga classes and you felt it, but you never really gave it a name, all right? Gamma consciousness. But let me just back up a minute because let's start first with the beta consciousness. So whether you know it or not, you're running around in beta consciousness all the time. You're running around, you're busy, you're doing stuff, you're thinking, you're being human, and we're busy, busy, busy. That's our beta state of consciousness. So in beta state, that gets into the sympathetic, that gets into the fight or flight, that gets into all that running around that keeps us from healing. We can't heal in that state. We can't calm down. We can't have new dreams and new thoughts. We're always in that state. Duality comes in. We question everything. So as we start to breathe and we open up this radiant light body, all right, maybe you notice the Kundalini channel. Maybe you notice the Shushunda channel. I like to call it the radiant light body. It's our radiance, and we build that color, we build the light, and we open up. And as we start to move into these higher realms, we start to change the vibration. So maybe you've noticed on some of the meditations, if you've listened, hopefully you have, that I talk about, like, we do a spirit to spirit. We drop into the heart. We lift our vibration. We move beyond the crown into the higher realms. We call in absolute light and streams of grace. And then we start to notice, how does that feel? We start to shift our vibration. Now, energy follows intention. So we do have to use a little breath to get out of the thinking, the intellect. But once we start to breathe and open up that radiance, then we call in. And then we start to shift. And then that's when we start to get into the gamma brain waves. So gamma brain waves we also can get into when we do yoga classes, like the Shavasana, my favorite pose. What about you, right? We lay in the Shavasana, we shift that into the class, we're settling in, and we get into this really nice calming. Most often that is a gamma consciousness. It's one of the, sounds a little oxymoron though, the fastest brainwave patterns produced in your brain, but it's your brain and these paths that are going further. It's the vibration, not the intellect. That's the difference, all right? Because we can get those intellect mind brainwaves spinning, but again, that's beta. So we want to breathe, and we want to open up and get into this brain pattern, which is why working the Akashic Records is so valuable. Because in order to get up there, we start to do it, but as we start to create that foundation we've been talking about and begin to see ourselves there and hear ourselves and feel and notice the color and the sound and the light, we've shifted our consciousness. And that's where that beta lets go. And that's where that gamma opens up. And so, yes, then we start to go into this beautiful vibration, the gamma consciousness, this higher state where really it just holds truth, right? Many of your teachers will say, oh, ask your spirit, right? Right? Suzanne talks about this. Cindy talks about this. Ask your spirit guide. It won't lie. Are you this? Are you that? It won't lie. We're in that because it's truth. The consciousness is one of truth. And so then we start to move in this world of vibrations and particles and light. That's why color is so important. I've been studying color, because color will address the emotions. So I have color all over the house. I got a little crystal color ball back here. I've got them all around my healing room, my house. Color helps us without getting into the mental chatter. Go get a color light. You can get them at your stores. You can look them up. Now they're all over the place. And just see what you see. Notice what you notice. Put on blues at night. What happens? Put on your yellows and your orange in the morning. If you're creative, put on an orange. Oranges are great for creativity. But this is what we start working with, and we start interpreting the vibrations according to the presence of our life. That's how they start to come together. So it is pretty amazing. We talked about it last time, I believe. We talked about the intuition too. We talked about it moving in the Akashic realm. We have our 7th chakra, but our 8th and our 9th and our higher self. When we start opening up that radiance, that's where we start really being able to access this consciousness. And then we call in that absolute light, streams of grace. All right, so absolute light. Another thing I learned from Cindy Dale, I'll just share what I learned. Why not? She's absolutely amazing, her books. So absolute light and streams of grace is like scalar waves. They're healing streams of grace. And so they are also a type of light that is like kind of pre-universe, pre-Big Bang, pre-life. It's just an electromagnetic field that works on the healing rays of light without any kind of duality into it. So even you could say like Reiki kind of fits into absolute light, but Reiki is also a vibrational light. So it's kind of like here, but streams of grace, absolute light. Call it in. Notice the shifts. Notice the difference. The more you do it, the more you will feel. And it also works with the chakras vibrations, right? Each of our chakras have a vibration, right? So it is pretty amazing. We call them in. We start to shift our change in vibration. We start to breathe into that gamma consciousness, calling in the streams of consciousness, the streams of grace. We used to call it SOG in our classes, just for short, SOG. We all knew secret language, right? It is. But when we start to work in the streams of grace, we also can call in the higher vibrations of color, so we can work with learning how to attune to those higher frequencies. Color's been used forever. I've talked about this many times. I love it to death. We can call in, for instance, ultraviolet. Ultraviolet is a harmonic color. It transmutes energy. In our daily world, in our everyday life, we're starting to see a lot of ultraviolet used as antibacterial. We're seeing them in spas. We're seeing them in hot tubs. So yes, this is what it does to the vibration, right? The world's catching on. Gold, we can call in gold. Gold is one of those higher vibrations as well, allows for change. It helps you to remember what is supposed to be. If you ever go into any of the spas, like in New York, they have Spa Castle, the Korean spas especially, they will have like saunas of gold. Go sit in it. Notice what you notice. This is what it's about. All right, we also work with the color of green. Green we know is the heart opening. But even you can work with, this is a judgment, but the positive and negative color. So if you can work with like a negative green, that helps you break up energy. And then the positive green comes right behind it and helps to reset, refocus, realign. So you can even work with color in that fashion. Again, no judgment. It's just the different ways of working with property. I kind of like to think about it as like how we work sometimes with reverse cards in the tarot, put simply, right? That is a simple way of looking at it. But as you start to work with all of these vibrations, and we use the Akashic realm, we can access so much more knowledge. You have that divinity of your own truth coming in for you, for your soul. There's no judgment. It helps you to remember wisdom from so many lifetimes. I feel like for me and the experiences I've had and the recognitions of some of my lifetimes, I feel like I have the huge depth of living. It's not just this flat little plane, one step in front of the other every day, but so many lifetimes. I sit down to do my art and I call on some of my Lakota energy when I go to bead, right? Or I know that I was a mystic up in Teotihuacan and I call on my painting skills and I go into that place. Imagination, intuition, creativity. Stress is gone. I can tell you that much. I don't care what the painting looks like. Stress is gone. The fun is there. The healing is occurring on so many levels. Versus running around, same thing. I'm going to judge myself. If I paint it, it's not going to be good, so I might as well not do it. Which would you like to live in? How can this help you? So many ways. It really can. It could really help you in so many ways get out of that day-to-day worry, stress, fear, right? So one of the ways that the Akashic realm has helped me recently in my growth was through my star people. So I've shared a little bit about this experience, but I kind of wanted to do that and have this guide us into our meditation today. And I'm bringing all this forward and closing it because I will say that I have a lot of great new spiritual books coming forward. I'm waiting on the books to come in. We've got them scheduled, so I'll be bringing you a lot more authors. I'm very excited about that, jumping into that. But from one of those episodes, late fall, last year, Barbara Handclough, she was awesome, right? Oh my gosh, another one. She has so much. Now I know so much more. I've had one or two of her books, right, in my Audible, but oh my God, Gaia TV, I've been watching her, so many years of experience and knowledge. She actually acknowledged the contact that I had with my Lemurians. Call them mine, like I own them. Let's change that. The contact I had with the Lemurian realms. The Lemurians, and she describes this perfectly, and I have so many books on it. The Lemurians are kind of like a pod from the Pleiadian star people, but very early into my spiritual awakening, right? Spiritual learning so much, starting to work with crystal specimens. I was making crystal jewelry, but crystal specimens, right, was some Lemurian crystals, and they were by my bed. I had a little color projecting through them. And I would wake up like I would just had a session. It was like I wake up, close my books, time to get up. You just had another session, class is over. And I'm like, what was that about, right? That was new. And I kept feeling like I just had a lesson. I kept having a lesson. And what I started noticing is I had a lot more wisdom about crystals, a lot more knowledge. I'm pretty much self-taught, right? I've only taken one crystal Reiki class. That's it. But it happened in a succession of energy, of a succession of mornings, right? It really did, kept building and building and building. And nobody really ever confirmed it. And sometimes you wonder when you're early and new, maybe you've had this experience, or am I making it up? Nobody's going to believe me. I had all of that, right? And more. But when she started to confirm it, and she told me, she said, I would really tune into that. It's like, wait, let's not run fast over that, right? Let's back up here a minute. Let's stay here with a minute. And she really did. She said, that's like being spiritually sourced. I thought, wow. Later on, after the podcast, I had a podcast to do. I kept going, but I thought that's pretty amazing. And so I am going to work with that. I'm going to commit to learning, to showing up, to receiving more and more messages. And that's what I've been doing. And so the Lemurians come in with a unique vibration, with a lot of knowledge. They're very in the upper realms. They're very etherical. And sometimes, you hear stories about what happened to them. They took all that ethereal energy, the very peaceful beings, and they buried their knowledge into the physical world. They couldn't really, my understanding, they couldn't really sustain what was going on in the physical world, the dinosaur times, all that. They couldn't really sustain some of that, but they had the knowledge. And so they stored them into the crystals. Talk about the Lemurian sea crystals, Lemurian generators. They're beautiful. They have codes. They have marking. I still think barcode came from Lemurians. I don't know how to prove it, but that's what I think. And so now their crystals have been coming back up. Their messages have been returning to the earth. We are finding them. We are bringing them forward. And you can sit in meditation with them and ask. They have markings. They have codes. There's a whole way of reading the Lemurian crystals. And so this knowledge is coming forward. And so now not only do I have my crystals to work with, now I go into the Akashic realm and I ask Lemurian guides, bring them in. What do you have for me today? What message? And I listen. I record as soon as I can remember, because sometimes we'll forget. We'll record it right there, put it into recording, speak it out. It's pretty fascinating. And I will say, I was just thinking about this as I was talking, that how do they come in? I always ask my clients, how do you process energy? Where do you bring in that intuitive information? Because then we build upon it. And I was just kind of spacing out of that a little bit, thinking, I do bring it in through hearing. I don't see a figure. Sometimes it's waves of color, but it's mostly clairaudience. So that's kind of interesting for me to note. So I'll just share that with you. It is important to recognize where messages come from instead of just, somewhere my guides told me. How trustworthy is that? But when you can feel that and align with it and know where it's coming from and how you're processing it, it's so important. It's so much more confirming. And that's what sometimes we need, is that confirmation. Just like I needed a little confirmation from Barbara there to go, yes, this happened, go there. Now it's kind of up to me to continue going there. I could call her up every day, say, hey, I got this message. Teasing. Not teasing. But this is what we do. And so then we start to trust. And so now I've just been trusting the messages. And they are very timely and they are very right on. And so I bring them forward to you. So as we go to close this whole Akashic realm for now, not forever, and there will be other spiritual authors I'll be bringing on about this as well. I will say that I am in a Akashic Summit starting on January 25th. I'll put that information in the show notes as well. I'm one of the speakers. Akashic Records Unlocked. That's what the title of the summit is. About 6 other speakers, so you can get more information there. I'll put that in there for you as well. And again, be on the lookout for soul messages for your everyday life. All right, take a breath. Let's process all that energy. I'm going to channel. I have no idea what I'm going to say, but I'm going to channel this meditation for you today. So let's begin. Whoever you are, if you can, go ahead and close your eyes. Take a nice deep inhale, breathing up the body. And as you exhale, breathe all the way down, slowing down, grounding. As we go to begin, we call in the sacred elements of life, reminding us we are all composed of these elements within and all around us. And as we light this fire, we add a special invocation for those out on the West Coast, though all the fires out there. We ask that the fires be tempered, the element balance. It is of the soul. It is of the purpose. We call the element of fire in, bringing our energy in as well. And then we begin to notice the element of air through the smoke. Coming forward, we ask the element of the wind and the air to temper as well, to balance. Calming those fires, creating a new energy, cleansing, clearing the mind. We call in the element of water. Water opens the heart, moves through the emotions. And we ask for the tempering of water all around the universe, a balancing as well, within and around. And now we call in the element of earth, grounding, centering, exhaling all the way down, sending love and light to our beautiful Mother Earth. Taking another deep inhale, breathing up the body. And as you exhale, breathing all the way back down, slowing down. Inhale, expanding the breath up the body. Exhale, breathing all the way back down, beginning to align your energy, calling in the spiritual body to align right on top of the emotional, mental, physical bodies, all centering. Inhale, expanding the breath up the body. And now as you exhale, dropping right into the heart, right into the deepest part of your heart, feeling that connection, your spirit and the greater spirit. Know that you are loved, guided, protected, feeling all this energy coming in around us as we establish this sacred space for this work today. Inhale, bringing that breath all the way up the body into the higher realms. Move beyond the crown now. Exhale, breathing all the way back down. Slowing down, centering. Inhale, expanding the breath up the body. Exhale, breathing all the way down, going deep into the earth. This is how we begin to build that radiance. And as we begin to build this energy, build this light energy, this radiance all around us, we call in our masters, our teachers, empowering the space. We call in the angels, opening the heart. We call in the crystal beings to bring the amusement and magnification. And now in this radiance that we begin building, call in your higher self, right above the crown, above those higher chakras, to receive these messages. Exhaling all the way back down. Inhale, expanding the breath up the body, through the crown, the higher self, into the higher realms. Exhaling as we call in absolute light, streams of grace. We begin to open up to this consciousness, this gamma consciousness. Inhaling, breathing up the body. And exhale, breathing all the way back down. Starting to feel the shift of energy. Inhale, expanding the breath up the body. Exhaling all the way back down, shifting the consciousness through breath, through light. Inhaling and exhaling, coming back to the heart. Right into the deepest part of your heart. Opening up through the auric field now. Expanding the breath this way. Opening up the energy fields. Just moving energy. Exhale, breathing it all the way back into the heart. And again, inhale, expanding the breath. Front, side, back, side. Exhale, breathing it all the way back in. And again, inhale and exhale. Right into the heart. Calling in the Reiki energy, Han Shinsei Shonin, Han Shinsei Shonin, Han Shinsei Shonin, sending Reiki all around through the energy fields right into your heart. We start to allow this energy to flow. As we start to open and expand the consciousness, moving through these higher realms. So as you breathe, right through the higher self, up into the higher realms, we start to move through this channel of light, opening up through these tunnels, breathing, allowing yourself to move higher and higher, right through those tunnels of light, asking permission to enter. We allow ourselves to move through the veil of roses, creating this beautiful space. Imagine, pretend, visualize you are in this galaxy of light. Allowing yourself to open through consciousness. And so here we are in this galaxy of light. And we call in our star people. Noticing I call in the Lemurians, my guides that have been showing up for me. We call them in for a message. Just allowing, listening, sensing these beautiful colors all around us, the golds, the ultraviolets, the whites, seeing deep blues and purples as well, magenta, these higher vibrations of light. And as they come in, the message I hear is one of being present. So I heard part of the message this morning, so it is a continuation about that presence of just being right here. Because there are so many changes coming, being present is the way to show up. There's the message right there. No need to second guess. No need to hold on too tight to what was. Just be present. Learning to focus the mind for more than 7 seconds. All right, I'm getting a little joke here, a little laughter coming through. True, though. Will be a very helpful skill for us humans. Learning to trust the power of slowing down and being present so that you can receive through this absolute light, through these streams of grace, the messages and guidance you need. This is where you will find insights. This is how you'll connect with your guides, your angels daily. But if we rush and busy and hold on too much there, we lose it. We lose the messages. We lose the guidance. Staying in this higher state, breathing, allowing yourself to be present will help you find that gamma consciousness and others. Theta, another good one to work in. But here, connection, finding the presence of mind, being right here, one pointed focus, will help you to be aligned with this energy. Let's take a moment to just be present, directing the Reiki energy right to the third eye, your third eye, that vibration of light, through the color of indigo. Notice. Focus. Listen to whatever messages are coming in for you from our star people now. Aye, ashe, aye, ashe, aye, ashe. Stay present. Ende. Focus on the color. Feel the expansion through the third eye. Ek might yo-yo, ha. Imagine it all around your energy field. Priyahaye Sophiyaha, bringing to the surface. Mayi Nohoya, more knowledge will arrive. Be present. So receive these messages. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, imagine you're just grabbing all this vibration of light all around you. And what we want to do is bring it into this radiant light column. Bring it in, bring it through that higher self, which helps to filter the message. The 9th, the 8th chakras, through the 7th, opening all the way through that 6th. All the energy starts to integrate through the causal behind the 5th, bringing it into your heart. 3rd chakra, you're owning it all the way through. 2nd chakra first, connecting in the physical realm, all the way down deep into the earth. Let it all begin to integrate. Now take a nice deep breath, inhaling up. And again, exhaling all this light coming in to further unfold for you, for your knowledge, your guidance. Inhaling and exhaling as we start to feel ourselves moving back down through these channels of light. Coming back through the veil of roses. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale, starting to ground your energy. We go to separate out our energies. Imagine above your head a crystal ball. And in that crystal ball, see your name in red. And imagine reaching up and releasing all the way down. Fresh light. Helping to expand the consciousness, your messages, your guidance now, all the way down deep into the earth. Grounding and centering. Sealing it in. Shokure, shokure, shokure. Take a moment. Blink the eyes open. Notice how you feel. Take note of any color, any light, any sounds, anything at all, even if it doesn't make sense. Start to feel grounded. So again, thank you for listening to this series. I love working in this realm. I know for myself and my clients, in the healing and the way in which they allowed and trusted and were fascinated by working in this realm of possibility, shifting patterns, honoring their ancestors, making new choices. So schedule a spiritual upgrade call with me. Let's talk about your path, your pattern. Again, I am friendly. I like to talk to people, and either it will help you or it won't. We can figure that out as well. Don't forget the Akashic Summit is coming up January 25th, and I do have a Reiki class. I better start talking about it. I do have Reiki. My Reiki schedule actually is posted. Reiki 1, private, intimate setting. Come learn with me. Thanks again for listening. This is your host, Terry Ann Hyman. To your spirit, namaste.